Clothes often carry more than just fabric and thread. They weave stories of heritage and craftsmanship. The guest inherited a dress from their mother, who had it for a long time and was from Oklahoma. The appraiser said the dress was from the southwestern plains, made by a Kiowa woman.
Came down through western Montana and the Rocky Mountains, migrated following the buffalo herds on horseback down into the southern plains.
It is adorned with European glass beads for color and detail. It represents a blend of Native American traditions and materials. Additionally, it incorporates influences from European and African trade. The appraiser dated the dress to 1890 to 1900. It's made of deer hide, tanned with deer brains, adorned with European glass beads, possibly French ribbons, African cowrie shells, and tin cone dangles. The detailed beadwork showcases the maker's skill. Being individually owned enhances its historical and cultural value. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"On a retail basis, I would value this at around $7,000.
A most thrilling experience on the show, as a 1990 first place championship trophy for the Iditarod Trail sled dog race, won by Susan Butcher, is brought in for appraisal by her husband. The trophy was won at the marathon in 1990, which was Susan's fourth win for the Iditarod. She had won the 1986, 1987, and 1988 championships and made second in 1989. Susan had an exceptional career, featuring in 17 races and maintaining top positions in 15 of them. She set the record and broke her record in 1990 with 11 days, 1 hour, 53 minutes and 23 seconds. Title IX in 1972 was the turning point for women in sports in Alaska, and Susan was at the center of it as she competed in a field with men. This was her legacy. Susan retired in 1994, an Alaskan hero, and there remain huge fans of Iditarod for the period it lasted between 1973 to 2023. Since this is the last trophy won by Susan Butcher that represents her legacy, a fair auction estimate would be $50,000 to $75,000, but a reasonable insurance value would be.
I would put an insurance value of $100,000 on this trophy.
No way. No way.
A fantastic collection, having Mr. Fox's Underground Treehouse and the Three Awful Villains illustration are brought in for appraisal. They are Donald Chaffin's illustrations, acquired from a gallery exhibition. It is a story from the book Fantastic Mr. Fox, and according to the story, he lived in a treehouse with his foxes. At the bottom of the picture is signed Donald Chaffin. The second illustration of the Three Awful Villains is interesting because it came from the end of the book, which is quite funny. There is a film by Wes Anderson, who asked Donald Chaffin to work with him. The film is a perfect visual illustration of the book. For the price, the treehouse illustration would bring about £1,000 to £2,000, while the three villain pieces would auction for.
I love this one, and I think if it was at auction, it had an estimate of around $800 to $1,200.
This collection of posters was purchased at an estate sale for $8.
I found them at an estate sale. They were just so iconic of 60s, and I really love old fabrics, so I just bought them.
The collection consists of 12 fashion study posters from the 1960s. Each poster bears the signature of the American architect and fashion designer, Bill Atkinson. Bill Atkinson. Atkinson was born in Troy, New York in 1916 and studied architecture at Cornell University. He transitioned to designing sportswear collections for his upstart Milwaukee-based firm. In 1957, Sports Illustrated voted him Designer of the Year, and he went on to collaborate with them on a collection of golfing clothing for spring 1958.
A little further research shows us that Atkinson is one of the people attributed to making sort of casual and sportswear more our everyday wear.
These posters showcase some of his fantastic designs, reflecting the architect's eye with straight lines and continuous repeating patterns. The appraiser believes these posters were used to sell sportswear merchandise. Titled Watercolor Studies, the posters aren't made from watercolor, but are instead printed. This collection is extremely rare, and although only 8 are presented, they have a collection value of.
Making all 8 of them at auction estimated $2,400 to $3,200 for the group of 8 that we see here, not including the ones you have at home.
Her grandmother saw it in a 1920 San Francisco jewelry store and called it a poison dart ring. It's a Renaissance revival poison ring, and it epitomizes 19th century historical style fashion. These rings, rooted in Renaissance and medieval traditions, concealed small amounts of poison. The ring includes rose-cut diamonds in round, triangular, and pear shapes, plus table-cut diamonds, a dazzling mystery in gold and diamonds.
Someone who thought that it was a Renaissance piece and gave me a jewelry value, but they didn't know anything else about it.
It opens to reveal a finely enameled frog or salamander inside, with colored emeralds. Turning it over reveals arts and crafts Chanlouve enamel with green coils and blue leaves. The appraiser valued the item in its intricate detailing.
At auction, this ring would take an estimate in the range of $5,000 to $7,000.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great.
This guest acquired a football in 1963 from a friend as a wedding gift. He also received a second football from a friend who had it signed by several Green Bay Packers teammates.
Dr. Brusky was a team physician for the Packers at that time, and she gave me that as a wedding present.
Both footballs bear the signature of prominent figures in American football history, including Jim Taylor. Jim Taylor was an American professional football player who played as a fullback in the National Football League. Another notable signature is that of Willie Wood, an American football player and coach. Both of these balls, even though much time has passed, remain in very good conditions. The football from 1963, which is of particular sentimental value to the guest, would be worth.
This 1963 football in auction would probably sell for about $3,000.
Meanwhile, the other ball is from 1965. Due to its historical significance in American football history, is estimated to be worth.
Probably would have a value in auction at $4,000.
Wow.
That'd be $7,000 for the both.
Wow, great.
This item is an innovative piece of pottery. It was developed in the 20th century and features a knight as a symbol of patriotism. The lustreware charger represents the expert creativity of the Lancastrians.
I don't know the age of it.
Thank goodness.
They were sold at Tiffany's & Co.
Correct.
It is not the usual type of pottery because it signifies royalty.
This is Pilkington's Royal Lancastrian pottery.
This lustreware is compared by many collectors to the Faberge eggs of the pottery world. During the time of its creation, it was sold by Tiffany & Company. It is believed that the knight at the front of the piece is French. At auction, this beautiful piece of Lancaster royalty would sell for.
It's actually worth £12,000.
Right.
A glance at this lamp communicates royalty. Perhaps it's because this is a furnace lamp by Louis Comfort Tiffany. The lamp features a uniquely golden body. Tiffany lamps are known for their luxury, and this one is no different. The lamp is enameled to provide a fine finish. It also has a mesh that enhances its beauty. The idea behind the furnace lights is special. At auction, this exquisite lamp would sell for.
In a gallery or shop setting, this would be priced at between $5,000 and $7,000.
Okay.
Nestled in the arms of this centenarian teddy bear are decades of childhood memories and the legacy of a pioneering toy maker. Given by the guest's grandfather, the Steiff bear dates back to the start of teddy bears made around 1910 by Margaret Steiff. It represents the early days of the company. Margaret Steiff. Unique features like its straight legs and button ear set it apart.
That it has straight legs. Normally, the legs are more bent like this.
I see.
Despite some wear, this bear has kept its charm and value for over 100 years. A Steiff button marks its authenticity and quality. Having seen the toy industry change from handmade to mass-produced, this bear is a testament to history. A testament to the enduring appeal of Steiff bears, this plush piece of history is now valued at.
If it was in mint condition, anywhere up to $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Undoubtedly, Walter Scott's monument is the largest monument to any writer anywhere in the world. Here are two letters written by Walter Scott. One is dated 1812 and signed by Walter himself. The other was not written by Walter Scott, but was an invitation letter to his funeral. It was written by a local farmer in 1832 to attend Walter's funeral and pay his last respects. Walter Scott's funeral was a large affair, with hundreds and hundreds of people in attendance and 60 carriages behind the horse. What makes this letter interesting is that it was written to a local farmer amidst other dignitaries who attended the event. At an auction, these two letters would be worth around.
I think at auction these would make 800 to £1,000 for the two?
I said, they're not mine, unfortunately, so thank you very much.
Our guest explains that the item has been in her husband's family since it was awarded to his great-grandfather in 1874. The appraiser identifies the silver holder as being made by an American silver company. The silver content is noted as 900 over 1,000, indicating coined silver. The appraiser describes the bottles as continental, likely Bohemian, and
if you've noticed, the most wonderful thing about the silver holder are the masks. In each one of the corners, you have masks over here.
This inscription on the decanter set reveals it was awarded to the Kentucky Railroad and the Bourbon County Agricultural Society for the best herd of cattle owned by one person in September 1874. A story is shared about a significant lawsuit involving a bull sold for $35,000, which eventually led to financial ruin for both parties involved. The appraiser estimates the retail value of the decanter set at,
I would say $5,000 to $7,000 for retail value.
The guest inherited this vintage baby bouncer from her grandmother. It was an early version of the modern bouncy seat. This vintage baby bouncer was manufactured by the Glasscock Company. Originally formed to manufacture washing machines, the Glasscock Brothers Manufacturing Company became famous as the first company to manufacture beverage coolers officially approved by the Coca-Cola Company. Such rare baby bouncers occasionally appeared at auctions and were highly sought after. This bouncer had a medieval appearance, which seemed unusual by modern standards. Due to the rarity and excellent condition of this family heirloom, the appraiser estimated it at,
I would think you could expect it to fetch probably at $500 if you were in an auction scenario.
The guest's great-great-grandmother, Granny Smith, used to play the dulcimer on the porch while chewing tobacco. The dulcimer was a folk art piece, likely made by a craftsman who was inspired by a real instrument. The craftsman drilled S-shaped holes, similar to those on a violin, using an auger. The back of the dulcimer was made from an old cabinet drawer bottom and dated to around 1880. It could still be played today with new strings. The appraiser was impressed by the rarity and historical significance of the instrument. The ingenuity of the craftsmanship was praiseworthy, making it worth,
I would value it between the $3,000 and $5,000 range.
Wow, I never expected that.
Our guest brought in a program featuring Steiff Prefontaine on the cover. Steve Roland Prefontaine was a US-American long-distance runner. From 1973 to 1975, he set American records at every distance, from 2,000 to 10,000 meters. Upon examination, it was revealed that Prefontaine had actually signed the program. The signatures seemed authentic, comparing it favorably to other known examples. The program was dated May 9th, 1975, just 3 weeks before Prefontaine tragically passed away in a car accident near Eugene, Oregon. The appraiser advised the guest to have the autograph authenticated by a third-party company, despite his strong belief in its authenticity. Much to the guest's surprise and satisfaction, the program was estimated between,
we think at auction, this could bring a value of $2,500 to $5,000.
Alrighty.
The late 1900s witnessed the Martin Brothers pottery gaining fame for remarkable bird designs. A guest, passionate about Martin ware, presented these lovely items for an appraisal. Standing out was an 1884 bird-shaped pottery piece in the middle with charming and lovely expression. Alongside was a 1907 pairing where the double bird showcased highly desirable traits and vibrant color. Back in April 1976, the guest invested £450 and £650 on these two pieces respectively. Additionally, a small vase adorned beautifully with Robert Wallace's classic Wally birds was presented. Such type of pottery has gained significant value and interest globally, particularly in America, Australia, South Africa and Canada. To the guest's delight, the appraiser estimated the value of these potteries at,
Table collection here, well in excess of £100,000.
This guest is an astute doll collector who acquired this piece at an auction in Milwaukee. It is a French fashion doll created by Francois Gaultier in Paris. Francois Gaultier established his doll company in 1860 in St. Maurice and Charenton in the Serene province, known for his fashion lady dolls, also called poupées de mode. Gaultier produced dolls from 1860 to 1916. The hallmark FG on the back of the doll's head identifies it as his creation. Despite Gaultier's production spanning from 1860 to 1916, this particular doll was crafted around 1967 as a reproduction made from the flea market.
This one's resurfaced again. Did you pay a lot of money for the doll?
Not too overly much, a few hundred.
A few hundred, okay, well.
The detail and craftsmanship of this reproduction are still quite impressive. If this were an original Gaultier fashion lady doll, its value would be higher, but this reproduction is only worth.
The value is probably between, say, $100 to $200.
This bear is not your everyday baby bear because it is luxury. It was created in 1911 by the luxury toy maker Steiff. Steiff is a German toy company that was known to create the world's first teddy bear. When you look at a bear as old as this, you see that it's still quite beautiful. It is a white bear that was created for the rich rather than for kids. One of the most interesting things about this bear is that it has a special feature.
Beautiful white Steiff bear, perfect pads, shoe button eyes.
What's more, the bear is also rare and highly prized among collectors. A bear like this would have been made from one of the finest materials. At a suitable auction, this doll bear would sell for.
One like him, this size, this condition, probably between $8,000 and $10,000.
Oh my God!
So you got a good Steiff bear.
Oh, that's
You have the best Steiff bear here today.
great.
In the realm of unexpected discoveries, few rival the allure of this Ernest Hemingway letter and manuscript. The guest obtained these unique pieces at a Channel 13 auction about 20 years ago for just a couple of dollars. One is a working manuscript page featuring the character Nick Adams, showcasing Hemingway's creative process. Nick Adams. This manuscript is highly valuable because it highlights Hemingway's revisions and literary craftsmanship.
He mentions Nick twice,
Right.
and Nick Adams, of course, was one
Right.
of the great Hemingway characters in several works.
The second piece is a satirical statement against literary critic Seward Collins, revealing Hemingway's sharp wit. Seward Collins. These items were donated to the auction by Mrs. Ernest Hemingway, adding to their historical significance.
So this is what we call in the field of manuscripts a working manuscript, as opposed to something he wrote out as a souvenir afterwards.
There's a certain joy that fills the air when these items are displayed, as they're quite exciting. These literary treasures are now valued at.
I would probably estimate them at about a total of $7,500 to $8,000.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
During World War II, an American serviceman in Como, Mississippi, acquired signs made by German prisoners of war. These signs represented various regions of Germany, including Weser, Oder, and Elbe. As the camp closed, the serviceman took 20 to 24 signs at a German private suggestion. German prisoners of war, organized by region, created signs as part of a tradition dating back to the Napoleonic era. Once mounted on posts, the signs display whimsical and detailed artwork such as the Pied Piper and mice. One sign even bears a lieutenant's name and the date 1945, likely added later to identify the creator. These signs transcend typical prisoners of war or folk art, becoming significant camp artifacts. With their detailed and charming designs, each sign could be valued at.
In an insurance or in a retail environment, these would be easily $1,000 a piece, and maybe even a little bit more for some of the ones that have more detail.
First thing you notice about this sideboard is its humongous size. This piece of furniture represents early American magnificence, although the elements on the sideboard are consistent with English movement.
It would date from about 1870 to about 1890. It represents elements consistent with the English aesthetic movement, which was founded on sturdy construction.
It was crafted in 1880 in Philadelphia. Sideboards were used in the 19th century for displaying exquisite dishes. Many of these sideboards are quite rare. The craftsmanship of this piece is evident in its numerous details. At a suitable auction, this beautiful sideboard would sell for.
I would value it at $10,000.
Okay.
This collection would be a steal for many North American collectors. It contains diverse types of North American embroidery and clothing. These clothes were obtained from the Canadian retail group, the Hudson Bay Company. The company, established in 1670, was prominent for fur trade, and many of these clothes are made from fur. They are a collection of First Nations clothing belonging to the Indigenous people of Canada. Many of these clothes are beautifully embroidered.
Moccasins here and moccasins there, and these gauntlets, Cree gauntlets here.
The collection represents a patriotic piece of folk art.
Buttons on it.
Okay.
And it's beautifully embroidered. Most of this work, Cree, there's a few other tribes there.
At a suitable auction, a collection like this would retail for the price of
£6,000 to £8,000.
Wow.
This amazing piece was a gift to this guest from her husband.
Alan, you told me that this was a gift.
Yes.
From your husband, Ben.
Yes. We had been looking to fill a space next to our fireplace.
Right.
That was very tall and very narrow.
Originating from Massachusetts, this is a Queen Anne slant front desk. This desk was made as far back as the 18th century, based on the features on the base of the desk. Made from maplewood, this desk showcases the brilliant craftsmanship of the 18th century. It features cabriole legs that end in pad feet, original to the desk. The appraiser believes the desk to have been reconstructed with a top section that is not from the 18th century.
Took a desk that is probably worth about $15,000 today, just this bottom section. They added on this top section.
Upon inspecting the back of the top section, it is evident that the wood was painted over to match the color of the back of the bottom section. The appraiser also points out specific details on the desk that show an effort to restore the old desk in a way that makes it look original.
Rose head nails, and all of those are period nails, but they basically reused some old boards and stained them on the back.
The fact that the desk is an original 18th century piece of furniture gives it immense value, estimated at.
It's worth at least 15, so
Can't complain.
Not bad.
It's wonderful.
On display is a breathtaking piece of furniture, a true masterpiece of design. The elegant item was discovered and purchased by our guest at a Fargo estate sale.
It's a really wonderful piece of teak Danish modern furniture.
Hailing from Denmark, this remarkable piece features a number of stickers chronicling its origins and provenance.
This Soborg Mobler, it's basically a furniture manufacturing company.
The cabinet bears the illustrious stamp of John Stewart, Incorporated, which was an American furniture company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, from 1948 to 1956, founded by the English-born furniture designer, John Stewart.
He did do some manufacturing in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He also had an outlet in New York City, so he sold high-end Danish furniture.
This exquisite piece was created by the renowned design duo Peter Hivet and Ole Molgaard Nielsen, who were Danish architects and designers known for their contributions to modern Danish design. They worked together as design partners from the 1940s to the 1970s, creating a wide range of furniture pieces, including chairs, sofas, tables, and cabinets.
They were in business in Copenhagen from 1944.
The cabinet features two separate compartments, connected with finely executed finger joints that highlight the craftsman's skill.
Is two pieces, two chests that are standing on top of each other.
This stunning teakwood piece, created in the mid-1960s, is a testament to the exceptional craftsmanship and is in pristine condition, estimating its auction value at.
And I think it's $2,000 to $3,000 maybe as a nice auction estimate. What a steal, right? Oh my gosh, $60. Yeah.
One of the earliest innovations by man was the creation of the bicycle. Over the years, different bicycles have been made, but nothing quite like this one. This tandem bike is equipped with what appears to be a baby sidecar.
It says who made it on the back. It's called the Watsonian. And of course, it was the great Fred Watson.
Tandem bicycles are bikes with seats and pedals for two riders. This bike dates back to the 1940s, which is regarded as the golden age of cycling. It is worthy to note that the bike is huge, and therefore is called a Hercules tandem bike.
Just, compared to a sort of modern day carbon fibre or aluminium bike.
The combination of this bicycle and a tandem bike is quite a smart innovation.
But just 3 gears.
Yep, Sturby Archer.
If this combo were to be auctioned, how much do you think it would be worth? These plaques were given to this guest by an acquaintance as a wedding gift.
Big time money on them, and ends up I sent him 9 winners in a row. So when I got married, he gave me these for a wedding gift.
The plaques were awards given to one of the greatest American jockeys, William Lee Shoemaker. Willie Shoemaker. He is known to have held the world record for the most professional jockey victories for 29 years. He had an illustrious career filled with major racing victories and awards, of which 2 are presented. The first award is a 1953 award by the Jockey Club of Mexico to commemorate his 485 wins. Unusually ornate for an award, the piece bears 2 enameled US and Mexican flags with synthetic rubies used to design the inscription. This particular award was a pinnacle in his career and is one that placed him at the all-time top season winner.
In order to have 485 wins, he had to write about 1,600 times that season.
It is very aesthetically pleasing and at auction should sell for.
This could bring somewhere between $7,500 to $9,000.
Wow.
The second award is a silver plaque for his 3,000th win from the Santa Anita Park in California, 1958, another great achievement in his career. This piece has more of a plain look, but based on its great provenance, its worth is estimated at
about $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow. He was a good friend, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very good.
This piece was purchased at a storage unit auction for $60.
Going to storage unit auctions, and it happened to be in one of the units I bought.
Did you buy this out of the unit, or did you have to buy the whole unit?
I bought the whole unit.
The box presented is a Regency cellaret from the early 19th century, around the 1810s and 1820s, originating from Great Britain. As the appraiser suggests, based on the rope spiral carving, the piece is constructed from highly figured mahogany of great quality. The form of the piece is called a cellaret, meaning a miniature cellar to store or keep liquor or wine. This kind of furniture would have been in the dining room, so a lock is added to secure its contents. Originally fitted with casters underneath the elegantly crafted paw feet, making it easy to move around the dining hall. The construction techniques used in the hinges are evident of 19th century craftsmanship.
With these butterflies that are inset into the top to keep the radius from cracking or to hold it stable. You'll see there's a dado here in the side.
It also features dados inside the box, which would have been used to hold a tray or something of the sort. Although the piece is missing its handles, casters, and part of its interior, it is monumental and worth an estimated
probably $3,000 to $5,000.
Really?
So you made a pretty nice return on your
really?
$60 investment, didn't you?
Thank you, that works.
A piece of American frontier history comes to life in this pioneer suit. Worn by the guest's great-grandfather in the 1880s, it shows what real settlers wore out west. Native Americans tanned the hides, and a pioneer woman made the suit. Native Americans, pioneer women. Unlike typical Western costumes, this suit represents genuine work clothing worn by early settlers. The suit gives us a rare look at pioneer life in the American West.
It's a really very special suit because we don't see Western clothing that was worn by pioneers.
Passed down through the family, it holds both personal and historical value. The accompanying photograph of the great-grandfather adds a personal touch to this piece of American history. This unique piece of frontier history is worth
$3,500 and $4,000 at auction.
Oh my goodness.
This is one of the most distinct pieces of pottery you'd ever see as a collector. Its beautiful pattern can be attributed to the Mexicans, Zia Pueblo. The design on it is known as a rainbow design by the indigenous people. It is worthy to note that this particular ceramic was made in 1935. During its time of creation, olas were used for storing water, but this one looks like it was made for royalty. It is a timeless piece that represents the diverse creativity of the Mexicans. Olas, like this one, were made by prominent Mexican females.
I tried to do a little research before I came on here, and I couldn't lock that in. There's been a number of small publications on the various pueblos, the Zia Pueblos, itemizing works by these various families.
At auction, this beautifully distinct ola would sell for
I think probably in the realm of $25,000 to $35,000.
No.
Oh, yes.
On display is a watch that exudes elegance and sophistication. This extraordinary watch is considered a treasured relic from the illustrious collections of J.P. Morgan, an American financier and investment banker who dominated corporate finance on Wall Street through the Gilded Age and Progressive Era. Later donated to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, our guest was able to acquire this piece from a dealer who had earlier purchased it at a Metropolitan Museum of Art auction. This exquisite timepiece is crafted in the ornate Renaissance style, dating back to the 19th century.
Over the years,
years, I've seen a lot of watches like this. People collected Renaissance-style things at the end of the 19th century, just the way people collect, let's say, Tiffany or Art Deco today.
The watch features a unique hexagonal star design, precision cut from the finest rock crystal.
Inside of the watch, all enamel.
Despite its French aesthetic, this extraordinary watch has a Viennese heritage, bearing the initials HB, the mark of Herman Boehm's craftsmanship.
Who was a very famous Viennese jeweler who specialized in making recreations, we'll call them, of Renaissance jewels.
Regardless of the passage of time, this exquisite masterpiece has defied the ravages of time, preserving its splendor and value. It would have an auction estimate of.
You could spend perhaps $2,500 to $3,000 trying to replace this watch.
A hat and a political cartoon from the early 20th century shed light on the legacy of Jonas Van Duzer. He was an active member of the Progressive Party during Teddy Roosevelt's split from the Republican Party in 1912.
Did form his own party, the Progressive Party or the Bull Moose Party. Your ancestor followed him, left the Republican Party, which would have been a very big deal.
The hat, presented by Roosevelt himself to Van Duzer, bears the inscription TR to JVD. It was worn by Van Duzer during his congressional campaign under the Progressive banner. Drawn in 1914 by Zimmerman, the accompanying cartoon depicts Van Duzer resigning from his election bid with a symbolic chip on his shoulder, reflecting the Progressive Party's stance against the Republican Party's disputes. Despite limited electoral success for the Progressives, these artifacts illustrate a significant moment in American political history. They stand as tangible connections to a transformative era of political upheaval. At auction, it is valued at.
For the group, I would put an auction estimate of $3,000 to $5,000. Wow.
In the heart of 1960s California, this masterpiece of craftsmanship was born from a chance encounter. This exquisite chess table and chairs, crafted by the legendary Sam Maloof, embody the pinnacle of American woodworking. Sam Maloof. Maloof, a self-taught artisan, transformed wood into fluid, curved forms that captivated presidents and celebrities alike.
Time Sam died in 2009 at the age of 93. He had made furniture for several presidents. He had made furniture for celebrities and captains of industry.
This set's unique features, like the chair's distinctive horns and Navajo rug upholstery, showcase Maloof's signature style and the era's aesthetic.
And in this case, we have an American Navajo blanket or rug cut to be made into upholstery.
Crafted from American black walnut and ash, this set represents the pinnacle of California's artisanal movement. Maloof's dedication to his craft and his California roots are evident in every curve and joint of this remarkable piece. As time passes, the value of Maloof's work continues to rise, reflecting his enduring impact on American design. This family heirloom, once a custom order, has now become a valuable piece of American furniture history. The chairs alone, separate from the table, are now valued at.
If you were to sell the chairs separately, I think they would sell for about $10,000 at auction.
Wow. Wow. That's great.
This bear is the most unusual type of doll you would come across. Unlike many other bears that are straight, this bear is positioned to stand unusually. Nevertheless, the bear is still worth a lot because it was created in 1905 by Steiff. The bear is called a riding bear, and at the time of its creation, it was a top-notch innovation. It is worth noting that this bear was made to provide companionship to children. The bear stands on long-lasting cast-iron wheels. As a symbol of doll luxury, this particular bear is an iconic piece.
Is that rusty-colored felt. Brown is a little more unusual color for these particular pieces.
At a suitable auction, this bear would auction for.
He would be around $1,200 to $1,500.
Okay. Thank you.
From the bustling streets of Charleston emerges a tale of artistry, preservation, and cultural significance. This charming pastel portrait, created by Elizabeth O'Neill Verner, captures the essence of Charlestown's historic flower sellers. Elizabeth O'Neill Verner. Verner, born in 1883, transformed her love for art and Charleston into a thriving career after her husband's passing in 1925. 1950s Charleston, South Carolina. Her sensitive portrayals of African Americans, particularly the flower sellers, became a hallmark of her artistic legacy.
She also was known as doing very sensitive portraits of African Americans, and particularly did numerous renditions of these flower sellers.
Verner's impact extended beyond art as she fought to preserve Charleston's architectural heritage and cultural traditions.
The old buildings through her art, and she was sort of considered the matriarch of the Charleston Renaissance.
The artist's innovative Verner color technique, layering pastel on silk, showcased her technical prowess and creativity. This piece, acquired from a 1950s street fair, has grown significantly in both cultural and monetary value over the decades. Despite its condition issues, this portrait stands as a testament to Verner's artistic skill and historical importance. In its current state, this artwork is valued at.
In this condition, it might be worth about $15,000 in a retail gallery, but if you were to have it conserved, it might be as much as $25,000.
Wow. Wow. I guess I'll have to say a little thank you up to the... Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Mystery solved. I love it.
At the Smoky Minehead Station, an exciting event unfolded on March 2nd, 1964. On this day, the Beatles arrived to film scenes for their first film, A Hard Day's Night, which captured the height of Beatlemania in a mockumentary style. A fantastic photo archive from that day, comprising around 25 photographs, depicts the band's activities. It also includes an encounter with a reluctant little girl being presented with a teddy bear. These photos were originated from a friend of one of the crowd members who had attended the event. These photographs hold significant value, not only for their historical importance, but also for their appeal of Beatles collectors.
Now, the popularity of the Beatles defies all predictions. We all thought...
Despite not owning the copyright, the guest possesses the physical objects, which can fetch between.
And I think we're talking about 25 photographs here, and I think we're talking about at least £1,000 and maybe as much as $1,500.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
To many people, collecting an item like this is pointless since it's just a glass. But this glass is a perfect representation of longevity at its best. Even more special, the bottle has wine in it which is over 100 years old.
It doesn't taste bad, but I think it's port.
All right.
It's port or red wine, it's one or the other.
It is quite rare to find because the bottle still has its original contents. It is believed that the bottle is from the 1800s. Another special feature of the bottle is that it can be stacked upon another.
Of keeping the cork moist, kept it expanded, which prevented air from going in, which would spoil your wine and turn it to vinegar.
This bottle would be a special piece to own in a glass collection. In today's auction market, how much do you think this strong bottle would be worth? A piece of Civil War history comes to life in this old revolver. This Savage Navy model shows us what guns were like in the 1800s. It was made in Middletown, Connecticut. The gun has wooden grips for firm handling. The revolver tells us about a time when war pushed new gun designs. It survived one of America's biggest wars. Having this gun helps us imagine what soldiers carried long ago. This special Civil War gun, a Savage Navy model, is worth.
At auction, I would probably put this in the $2,500 to $3,000 range. Yeah, it's a great gun.
Walking sticks are often functional or decorative, but this one hides intriguing Prohibition-era secrets. A unique walking stick, passed down through the family, was brought for appraisal. The guest's great-uncle possibly got it from a governor. The cane has hidden features, including stemware and a glass bottle. The label humorously claims to cure ailments and prevent falling in love or political ambition. Made around 1920, it reflects the Prohibition era when people hid their liquor. The label advertises the St. Louis Coffin Company, owned by politician Frederick Gardner. The cane is in excellent condition, making it valuable Prohibition-era memorabilia.
Lovely piece of Prohibition-era memorabilia, but more than that, it speaks to the time very well.
The appraiser estimated its value as...
Because the condition is so good, we'd estimate this cane to bring $400 to $600 in an auction.
Oh, goodness. And I know my uncle liked to have a drink in the evenings, and so maybe he did that wherever he was.
A work of art that embodies the essence of beauty lies before us. The painting is a stunning representation of Walter Emerson Baum's artistic legacy. Walter Emerson Baum was an American artist, painter, and educator, popularly known for his Impressionist and landscape paintings, capturing the beauty of the Pennsylvania countryside.
Walter Emerson Baum.
He was born in Sellersville in Pennsylvania.
Walter Baum's signature, elegantly inscribed at the corner, and the inscription on the back of the painting, specifying the location painted, offers conclusive evidence of the work's authenticity.
Center Valley in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely.
A serene and idyllic snow scene is masterfully rendered in this exceptional work of art. This piece invites the viewer to step into a soothing and homely world. The painting's worth is not lessened by its dirty appearance.
If you're thinking of holding on to it, then I would advise you to have it cleaned. But if it's something that you're thinking of selling, you're actually better to leave it in the condition that it's in and let someone else take that on.
This exceptional painting is in almost flawless condition, bearing an auction estimate of.
I would expect it to fetch, I think, comfortably $4,000 to $6,000.
Wow.
Before guns and tanks were invented, there used to be swords. This sword is a perfect representation of patriotism, and it was used after the Civil War. It was crafted in 1896 as a presentation sword after the Civil War.
This tenant was from Ashland, Wisconsin. And before he received this sword, he formed the Ashland Rifles.
To many soldiers at the time, the sword represented the highest feat of achievement. It's made from the finest silver to ensure it held to the highest regard by the owner. The sword is highly prized among collectors because it represents a vital part of American history.
It's better than the average bear. Because it's such a high grade. You had the plain Jane ones that they would wear in regular field use.
A close look at the handle also shows it's made from silver to provide a tight grip.
This one has a pewter handle that's silver washed, and it has the braided wire on top of the handle.
At auction, this National Guard sword would retail at the price of.
It's probably worth somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000.
Wonderful.
Louisville smugglers are famous for their size and quality, but this particular bat is extraordinary. A guest brought a 6-foot Louisville slugger purchased in Manhattan in the early 80s. Over time, he collected 80 signatures on the bat, 78 of which are Hall of Famers. Notably, Pete Rose and Tommy John are also included. The guest shared that he collected these autographs with his 3 sons, creating cherished family memories.
2 of them I had put on there, Pete Rose and Tommy John, thinking that they'd, by now they'd be Hall of Famers, about 30 years later. Still not, but I still think they will be eventually.
The appraiser highlighted the authenticity, with photos documenting each signature. The bat features autographs from legends like Willie Mays and Joe DiMaggio. The guest's dedication is evident, as he often met players before they were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ted Williams' signature was a memorable addition. The guest estimated spending around $500 on autograph fees. The appraiser valued the bat as.
At auction, I'd expect it to sell for at least $4,000 to $6,000.
Okay, very nice.
A multi-signed piece like this doesn't always translate to what you would think as far as when you look at the value of their autographs.